This video could be the most important video you've seen in a long ass time. Welcome to 10K Tuesday. Oh, no. 10 Mile Tuesday. 10 Mile Tuesday. Big finish. Woo. All right. So hey, welcome to 10K Tuesday. If you've never been here before, hi, my name is Scott, and every Tuesday, before I'm able to talk to you, I have to run 10 kilometers. That's kind of my rule that I've set for myself. And because I'm in training for a marathon right now, I'm running 10 miles every Tuesday. That's part of my better than nothing training for the marathon I've got coming up November 16th. Also, in spirit of 10K on Tuesday, I want to make $10,000 on Tuesday. And you got to start somewhere. And my method has been day trading, and I have actually made 10,000 bucks doing it. Just not all in one day. That would be super cool. And let's go ahead and while I pull over, we'll go to the financial portion of today's 10K Tuesday. I shot that earlier this morning. I just wanted to review something here because last week, I don't know if you tune in every week, what we're trying to do is, we want to make $10,000 in a day. That would be awesome. And you got to start somewhere. And last week I didn't even do it. You know why? Because I lost a bunch of money. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take myself out of the game and put myself on the bench for a little while. And it just wasn't my day last week. So this week I've made a nice little comeback. And so what I'm reviewing here is this is pretty much where I started yesterday on a clean slate. And what we're looking at is lots of small wins. Over and over and over and over. And that was a nice one right there. And here's a chicken shit loss. But lots of small wins. And look how they add up. And then start out today with this one here, and which was easily offset by this one. And I've got this one right here currently running. What's my point? My point is this. I'm finding, we need to stay true to what works for us. What this is kind of scalping. And in the day trading world, scalping is really frowned upon. A lot of the big time traders, they don't like scalping and they kind of disrespect it. However, it's obviously making money for me. It's obviously working. Is this my long-term plan forevermore? I doubt it. I know swinging for the fences, it sometimes works, and that's what kind of triggers that sort of gambler's mentality in your brain, and you start thinking you're a wizard when you take, like, say, 2 or 3 big swings in a row, and they all pan out, and you just think, my gosh, man, I'm just omnipotent here. I'm a trading wizard. And you're not. You just got lucky. But stacking small wins, that's a metaphor for life, quite frankly. If we set up our days every day where we get small wins, one after another, after another, after another, you're unstoppable, is the way I see it. And it's not just me, I didn't make that up. It's just something that I'm dialed into. Starting out my morning every day the same way, with win after win after win, ultimately ending up with a workout or a run, and I can take whatever the day throws at me, and that's what will happen for you as well, because we know here that we cannot think our way into positive actions. We must act our way into positive thinking. And so when we have a plan, we have an idea of what we're doing every single day already done, like it's Tuesday, so I know I'm running 10 kilometers today. Today it's actually going to be 10 miles, but and tomorrow, Wednesday, well, I know that is chest, shoulder, triceps day. And then of course I have an idea of what I'm doing in my professional life, but that comes after the workout. That comes after meditating and sort of having a meeting with God in the morning. And so those are the wins. Hey, I meditated, hey, I journaled, hey, I worked out, and win. And so it's kind of parallel here with the scalping that I did yesterday, just small win, small win, small win. I'm just walking down the street. Yeah, I'm going to pick up a 20. I'm going to pick up a 5 if I see it on the sidewalk. None of these right here were huge swings. And, I damn near batted 1,000 yesterday with just a small win after small win after small win. And I sincerely hope that is helpful to you. Not necessarily for day trading. Day trading is not everybody's cup of tea. If you have a plan for yourself, like I want to accomplish this audacious goal, all right, well, what's your vehicle for it? Well, my vehicle just happens to be day trading because, you can make the most money in the quickest amount of time, that I know of. And so that's what I decided to do. And, start out with about $600 here yesterday. So that's not too shabby right there. It kind of beats working the way I see it. And eventually we will be at that $10,000 a day, Big Daddy benchmark. So I hope that's inspiring to you, because that's what it's all about. I don't ever want it to come off as bragging about me on my end. I want it to inspire you on your end. I don't have to make these videos. I want to. Well, you know what? I do have to make them. I have to make them because, I think we're here to heal ourselves and teach others to do the same. And so for me to conceal this from you it's like a sin. And so the whole point is I never, ever, ever want it to be bragging. I want it to be inspirational to you, for you. It's all about you. It's my duty. All right, let's get out there. So to figure out if you're winning, it's kind of tough when you're doing the exact same thing every day that you've been trained to know is right, but you're not receiving daily validation, let's say. And I can think of a couple instances in my life. For instance, I was an installer with Dish Network, and I was written up for doing sloppy work. My boss told me, he said, look, we've had to go back on a lot of your jobs here, and you're going to need to tighten up. So what I did was I told myself, all right, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do every single job. I don't care if I'm the slowest dude. All these jobs are going to be done to the best of my ability. So fast forward, I'm just doing the same old shit every day. And come like January of 2006, I get a call from my boss one night. He says, hey, did you see the stack rankings? I was like, no, I don't look at that shit. He said, you're the number one installer in the country right now. What? I was almost fired, 3 months ago, but for some reason, I was the number one stack ranked installer for Dish Network in the entire country, just from doing what I was supposed to be doing. So yeah, doing what you're supposed to be doing on a daily basis might not be, you might not get those, those little dopamine hits or shots of adrenaline. You just sort of look down and, your bank account reflects, holy shit, I have been doing the right thing. And as far as your body, if you're trying to get fit, that, you're not going to go to the gym on Thursday, wake up buff on Friday. So check this out. I am definitely a different guy than I was 10 years ago. And I've just written a book. And so, a book needs a cover. And so we just got back from vacation on St. John, and my brilliant plan was, hey, I would like to get a picture of me all ripped down here in paradise. And so it's funny because the first day I got stung like this jellyfish and infected with all this freaking larva right front and center on my ab, and it took the entire it's still not 100% healed, but by the the very last day of the trip, I was like, it's kind of now or never if we're gonna get this shot. So this is video footage of my wife filming me walking out to this old boat that was in this bay that we were staying in, and to get this shot. And I didn't see this video until I boarded the plane, and I was just so giddy. I was looking next to my wife. I was like, this is me. This is me. I had no idea that I looked like that. Honest. I mean, yeah, I have a mirror, but man, I just didn't know that I looked like that. I don't see what my back looks like. And
what we're looking at here is, you know, a couple of years of hard work. And then, you know, what it looks like after you drop drinking and smoking and take up running and eating clean. That right there was just a huge gratifying moment. You know, I wasn't getting those hits like that. Like, oh, I can't believe this is me. I can't believe this is me. That does not happen to me every day. Now, every day when I put in the work, yeah, that feels fucking awesome. But this was, to see this for the first time was ecstasy? I don't know. It was just freaking exciting because it felt outer body to me, especially coming from this a long time ago. I can't believe that this is the same fucking guy. I don't know if we're going to use this as the cover for the book. It looks a little grainy, but I don't know. We might go with it. Right now it's a placeholder, you know, unless I come up with something spectacular here soon. Maybe this is what we'll go with. By the way, I'm not here to pitch the book, but when the book is available, it will be linked in the notes below this video, and it will change your life, I can tell you that much. And we're back. So today's episode, I wanted to talk about how you know if you're winning. There's 3 ways that I can tell you that I know for sure to know if you're winning. And the first one is benchmarks. And by the way, I'm not some big know-it-all. I just share what I know to be true out there with you, and it's helped me, and I know it'll help you. So benchmarks. So if you started out in January with $0 in your account, and you ended up in December with $1 million in your account, well, that's a pretty glaringly obvious benchmark that you're making good financial moves. And, you know, for example, with running, that's why running is such an excellent thing. I highly advocate running, and because when you start out, you're going to suck. David Goggins, you know, arguably like the toughest dude alive, when he decided to change his life, he said, all right, I'm going to run. And this dude that has done, I don't know how many freaking like ultra marathons and regular marathons and all this tough guy stuff, when he set out to run, he could not make it a quarter mile. He stopped after a quarter mile. So I recently read or heard him say that 10 kilometers is a light day for him. In other words, this 10K I do every Tuesday that I think is such a big deal, that's a light day for him. I mean, all right, so when I started running, you know, I had this loop, it's just 2 miles. And I would carry a water bottle with me, and halfway through was the toughest part of it. I would go up this great big trail, and it would end at a graveyard. If you see the video where I talk about will bone broth get you abs, you'll see it in that video back when I lived in Christiansburg. And so every time I had myself programmed, I would get to the top of this hill, and I would stop and I would drink water. Well, I decided a benchmark would be, hey, what if I didn't stop? I could run as slow as I wanted to, but I could not stop. So one day, I went up that hill and I didn't stop. It was feeble as shit, but I did not stop, and I never have stopped since. So that was a benchmark. And then eventually the water fell by the wayside. I didn't need water for a 2-mile run. Now, you know, I really don't need water until I hit, you know, 5 miles. And it's going to be, you know, subjective for everybody. You know, that's David Goggins couldn't make it past a quarter mile. Now a light day for him is 10K. You know, that benchmark there where I needed to stop, drink water, that was a barrier. It's a psychological barrier, blasted through it. But anyway, those benchmarks are how you know you're winning. And of course, the $1 million. Number 2, validation from other people. That is how you know you're winning. But that's a tricky thing right there. And for example, I don't need my wife to tell me that I'm a good husband for me to know that I'm a good husband. I don't need anybody to tell me I'm a good man to know that I'm a good man. I'm doing all the right things in those areas. And I think a lot of people, they're waiting on that validation from a third party. I don't know why exactly. Maybe it's lack of faith, not believing in themselves, not being in the present, not having a relationship with God. I don't know, but so many people are waiting on that. And that right there will really fuck you up. Now, if you get that validation, sure, it's great. You know, like a first place medal at the end of a race, well, that's validation, sure. When I made a conscious decision a while back to get ripped. And I did that because I thought my wife wasn't into me anymore. That's why I did it. All this extra stuff, like, you know, dropping drinking and tobacco, and getting a relationship with God, all that stuff came afterwards. I never intended to do that. My sole intention was get ripped. That'll make my wife fall in love with me again. This is, you know, these two pictures here. That was me a couple years after I got married in 2014. And then, you know, this is me now. I obviously look better now. My intention to getting ripped started maybe a year or two ago. I didn't make any announcements. I didn't make a speech to her, you know, like, I'm gonna win you back, I'm gonna get ripped. I just shut the fuck up and started going to the gym and running, right? And it took like 2 years. But one morning, I'm standing there in the kitchen with my shirt off. I'm looking out the window, drinking a cup of coffee, and I hear a voice behind me, "Good morning, sexy muscle man." That's my wife. I was like, "Are you messing with me?" She's like, "No, you look good." There was my validation. I got lucky that she did that. Because right then and there, I was like, that's it. I am on this path forever. So thank goodness I got that, but I shouldn't have needed it. I've got a set of scales. I've got a mirror. I knew I was doing the right things, but that validation was a cherry on top. But nevertheless, that is validation from third parties is an indicator that you're winning, that you're doing the right things. And that's where my heart goes out to folks that have done these monumental things, like say lose 100 pounds and then gain it back. And I just feel so sorry for those folks that gain it back. And I think there's a couple reasons why, and that could be a whole separate video in and of itself. But one of the reasons why I think it doesn't stick is because they never got the validation. You know, when they lost that 100 pounds, that significant benchmark, they didn't get a big cake with a stripper popping out of it and, a ticker tape parade. Congratulations, you lost 100 pounds. It just, they didn't feel any. By the time they lost that 80th pound, losing the 100th pound didn't seem any different to them. And so that, they didn't have an event that just cemented it down, what the heck that they just accomplished. That's my 2 cents on that. And the third indicator to know that you're winning are signs from God. And if you're waiting for God to communicate to you through a hologram like Obi-Wan Kenobi or Princess Leia, he doesn't work like that. He's got a sense of humor, he's clever, and he communicates to you through signs. Sometimes they're literally signs, like the back of a t-shirt or a bumper sticker. So the sign from God indicator is, it's a tricky one and it's a fun one, because once you drop those vices, I feel like you are in more of a position to receive those signs, because there's a haze that's sort of been lifted from you, a distortion in your antenna. But my sign happened a couple 3 days ago. Lost my wedding ring. Yeah, I never take off my wedding ring. It slipped off. It fell off. That's how I lost it. I noticed it was getting a little bit loose, but I'm not the same guy I was 10 years ago when I put it on. My ring size has changed. Losing your wedding band, well, that's a sign. That's a real significant thing. And I changed my life, I thought, to preserve my relationship with my wife. And here's the irony is I lost my ring. And I see that as a sign from God. And, you know, I can get another wedding band. I can't get another Laurie. So we've got our benchmarks, we've got our validation, and we've got our signs from God, which are all things that we want to use to indicate that we're winning, that we're doing the right things. And, you know, what I've discovered winning to be is stacking small wins every day and just not taking back steps. I strive to hit singles all the time. That's what I want. Occasionally I'll hit a double or a triple. It's just 0 back steps. That's really what's key. And I'm just not gonna get that pat on the back every day. And if you live for that pat on the back, well, that's your validation territory. I guess if we just sort of have this sort of lexicon of 3 indicators, you know, if you get the validation from your wife that you're looking good, awesome. Hey, that's a cherry on top. That's what you call a rogue wave, a good rogue wave, or a blessing. But you're gonna need to be your own validator. You're gonna need to know in your heart of hearts that you're a good man, you're a good husband, because, you know, your spouse isn't gonna come up and tell you how awesome you are every day. Do you do it for her? Do you tell her every day, you're a good wife? You're looking good. Well, we ought to try, you know, we ought to give without expectations of receiving. Anyway, I sincerely hope that these 3 things have helped you, and maybe you needed to hear this at this time. Maybe, you know, this video could be the most important video you've seen in a long ass time, because we're trying to do the right things, but there's nothing glaringly obvious telling us, hey man, you're doing the right things. You know? So benchmarks, validation, signs from God. I hope all these things have opened your eyes, made you aware, made you present, to know, and maybe light a fire under your ass. I hope this video has helped you. By all means, if it has, why don't you hit that like button or consider subscribing. I drop lots of videos for you out there. Doesn't cost you a dime. Means the world to me. I'll see you at least next week, next Tuesday. All right, take care. Bye. Do not waste this day.